This is a video that I made for a school project, so it's not that good, but here it is anyway. Excuse me. I've been practicing my sword fighting. I've been getting lessons from Doug Markaida. Welcome to Medieval Voices. My name is Frank Theus Matthias Samtheus the 94th. Or Frank if you're too tired to say my full name. I am a knight in training. Today we are looking into social hierarchy, the changing role of the church, and the emergence of feudalism. Let's dive in. Let's start with social hierarchy. You see, in this great reliable source we call Google,
Not sponsored, not sponsored, not sponsored.
I found this image. This will explain very well how the feudal system works. A feudal society has a king, a noble class, knights, and peasants. Now, how do I stop the screen share? The classes worked like this. The king owned all of the country's land and made the laws. The king gave this small piece of land called a fief to the rich lords and nobles. In return for all the king did, the lords and nobles supplied the king with items for his army, including horses and even soldiers. The nobles would also give land to the soldiers for their sacrifice. The soldiers and knights fought for the nobles and the king, like how modern military in the US fight for the health of their country. But a majority of the population were peasants. The peasants were the average person you see walking down the street. Next, we are talking about the church and its roles, you see. The church provided education for some people, and the church helped the poor and sick stay healthy. The role of the church would get bigger and bigger until it was a part of nearly everyone's daily life. Just kept growing and growing and growing, and it became very wealthy over time. One of the reasons that the church became wealthy is because they didn't have to pay taxes on the church land. The church just grew and grew to be a big power in the Middle Ages. And of course, we can't talk about medieval times without going over feudalism.
Oh boy, feudalism, I can't wait!
Feudalism was the dominant social system in the Middle Ages. It originally began in the 18th century in France. After that, it proceeded to spread all across Europe. Feudalism really flourished between the 9th and 15th centuries. We already talked a little bit about how it works earlier, but let's go over it again. I'll let John explain this time.
Wait, that wasn't part of the deal?
Fine, I'll explain it. Fine. Okay, hold on just a sec. What in the world is feudalism? What is an example of Man, I gotta cover this. Okay, so basically the king owns the land, and then the nobles give the kings all the fighting stuff they need for fighting, and then the knights fight with the cool swords and shields and masks and stuff. And then the peasants are just like your average Joe you see wearing a blue flannel at the canned soup aisle of your local Walmart. I mean, that's how I see it anyway. Thank you, John. Feudalism would usually emerge due to new control. When someone loses their job running a country, someone else will step in. And nobody has the same exact views as another person. Due to the spread of feudalism, more people wanted it to be used, so more new controllers would put it into effect. But of course, all good things must come to an end. The end of feudalism was around 1500. It ended because of disease, political changes in England, and wars. something I'm kind of familiar about. Well, my fellow viewers, thank you for joining me along for this ride. I have a chess tournament to attend, so I better get going. Onward! Yeah, this was a mistake.